Morning decisions. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Now at McDonald's, a McDouble is $2.50, so you can get your gym gains on. Or just get lunch for only $2.50. Get more value on the under $3 menu.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, folks. This is the More Money Show. Thank you so much for joining. I know this is the highlight of your week, because it has to be, because it's the highlight of my week. Thanks so much for joining. We have listeners all over the country, because we are nationwide, coast to coast, north to south, east to west. So thank you. And a lot of people listening, online. So, this is truly the highlight of my week, and I'm really blessed to be able to be in front of this microphone and talk to the millions of listeners who care about our economy and our country. So a lot to talk about. We got some great guests coming up. I'm going to be joined by my friend and the first press secretary for Donald Trump, Sean Spicer, who is just a fountain of knowledge and wisdom. So we're going to talk to Sean, and we will also have on later in the show John Catsimatidis, who's going to talk to us about what's going on with the oil situation and the situation in Iran. So full show today. I wanted to let you know that I am against the idea of the United States federal government buying an airline. I think that's a terrible idea, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But I want you all to know that the reason that Spirit is in bankruptcy is because of what I call the killer bees of the previous administration, and that is Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg, who killed a deal that would have gotten Spirit out of bankruptcy if they could have merged with JetBlue. I know a lot of you know this story. I was on CNN the other night talking about this, and it's all Donald Trump's fault. No, it is not. It is not. It is the fault of Joe Biden, and it is the fault of Pete Buttigieg. I mentioned Buttigieg because he was the transportation secretary. He's the one who killed the deal, and he wants to run for president. And by killing the deal, he has put thousands and thousands of blue collar jobs at risk. Shareholders of JetBlue and Spirit both got screwed, and now the airline is looking like it's going to go into bankruptcy. That we would not be in that case if it had been a rational administration that came before this. I think things are looking up for the economy. I know this has been a tough patch. I know people are angry about paying $4 a gallon for gas. I am. My wife is. But we are coming to the end of this conflict. I agree with what Larry Kudlow was saying earlier on the show, which is that the cards have been dealt. Iran is the big loser here. They have to acknowledge that they've lost, and they have to get the Strait of Hormuz open, or their economy will completely crumble. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the Iranian people go hungry. I don't want to see them be pushed into poverty. This is a result of their evil leaders in Iran. And when we get the Strait of Hormuz open, we're going to return to $3.50 and then $3 a gallon gas, and that will be here by the summer. And then we're going to see another economic boom. Let's not forget, in Donald Trump's first term, we had an economic boom with low inflation. In Donald Trump's first year of his second term, we had an economic boom and low inflation. Yes, inflation is rising now because of the Iran situation. When we get that settled and we are victorious and we have peace and freedom and safety around the world, then we will see this economy boom again. By the way, Jay Jackson will be coming on later in the show. He is one of the experts on longevity, and I know that's an issue that all of you care about. So let us, without further ado, go to the first guest, because I've been so excited. I've been twisting Sean Spicer's arm for weeks and weeks to get him on the show. Sean, are you there?
We're still getting Sean, Steve.
So
he's right around.
He will be on in a few minutes. In the meantime, let's talk about some of the other things that are going on in the economy. One of the big stories is this, that we are now seeing a kind of melee in the United States Senate and the United States House. We are seeing the Republicans who are sleepwalking. They are not being aggressive in terms of pursuing the kind of pro-growth agenda that is necessary to make sure this economy gets back its feet back on the ground and we have a big boom going into the summer and fall. And so what we need to do is to have a reconciliation bill that is not, you've heard this term, a skinny bill. I hate that term, a skinny bill. No, I want to, when you go to the restaurant, they say, do you want the fully loaded baked potato, with the bacon and the cheese and the sour cream and the onions and all that? Yeah, that's what I want in this bill. I want it to be completely loaded with pro-growth policies. You get one vote. And you can pass this with 51 votes. So let's do it. Let's do this. Let's go big or go home. That's my message to the Republicans in the House and Senate.
All right, we have Mr. Spicer.
We have Sean Spicer on. Yay! We've been waiting for weeks, Sean, to have you. I am so excited. Sean Spicer, of course, is an American hero. He was the first press secretary for Donald Trump when he became president. Did an amazing job in that. He is now the host of a show called The Full Court Press with Sean Spicer, and I was honored to do his show, so I twisted his arm. I got him to come on. Sean, thanks for coming on.
Well, with that kind of introduction, I may come back every week now.
Okay, well, I'd love to see it. So, first of all, I've asked you this question before, but it's probably been about 6 months since I've had you on. So, you were, in the hot seat, so to speak, when Donald Trump became president and was sworn in 2017. Did an amazing job, so thank you for your service to our country. And you have seen how the press treated Trump in his first term, and now you're seeing how the press has treated him in his second term. And by the way, I'm going to go see a lot of these media people. I'm going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner tonight, so I don't know if you're going to be there.
Boo!
Well, the president is going, so I had to go. But Sean, tell me about how you feel like the press. Is this a fair press? Are they treating Trump fairly? Are they completely hostile? They certainly were hostile when you were there. Is it worse or better than it was 7 years ago?
It's different, and here's why. Yeah. I literally have a book right now coming out Tuesday. You can go to Amazon literally right now called Trump 2.0. There's an entire chapter on this, and I'll give you the headline. The answer is it's different. What do I mean by that? It's more diffuse. So when I was there, I'd look out from the podium, and I'd see maybe one, sometimes two, not hostile faces. And I don't say friendly because some of them, but now when Caroline looks out, right, there's the Daily Caller, the Daily Signal, the Daily Wire, Lindell TV. I mean, it is so what's happened is CNN is still CNN. The New York Times is still the New York Times. But I didn't have anywhere to hide. And I don't mean that like the conservative media, because to be honest with you, I would tell people all the time, Matt Boyle from Breitbart was one of the toughest guys to deal with because they had an agenda that they wanted. I mean, they felt like, hey, Trump needs to be focused on this agenda, and they were going to hold him to it. So they weren't easy by any stretch of the imagination, but Caroline has done a really good job. I brought in Skype, so I started to bring in outside, voices. And Caroline and I talked about this during the transition, and again, part of the reason I wrote the book was to explain, like, what makes Trump 2.0 different is that the 4 years out of office, they were able to plot and plan. And what do I mean by that? So, like, most presidents, actually everyone except one other, are literally, if you are consecutive terms, you just, Monday becomes Tuesday, becomes Wednesday, the same chief of staff, the same secretary of state, the same whatever, and you just keep going to work. When you have 4 years out of office, like the America First Policy Institute folks went around and interviewed all of the people, not all, like a good chunk of the people from Trump 1.0 and said, like, tell me about your job. What was it like on day one? What would you do differently? What resources would you like to have had? Compile all this information, and Caroline got it. Some of it she probably thought was great. Some of it not so much. Some of it she took. Some of it she didn't. But when I came in, I was like, where's the bathroom? Right? I'm kidding a little, but it's a very different dynamic. And that's the key, is that, like, I joke with people, Steve, that it's like a team that plays a team again in a season. Like, the second time you play, you're like, okay, I know the players on the field. Maybe here are some of the substitutions. And the example that I like to share with people that's in the book is when Donald Trump was trying to figure out who he wanted as Secretary of Defense in Trump 1.0, he'd been recommended to talk with Jim Mattis. General Jim Mattis. And so Mattis comes to Bedminster. He meets with him for about an hour. Then on December 5th, we get on Trump Force One, fly down to North Carolina, and roll him out. That was it. That was his Secretary of Defense, right? You contrast that with Pete Hegseth, and you and I have talked about this, like, with respect to the Fed. Like, he knows a lot of these players now that he didn't know. And so part of the reason I wrote Trump 2.0 was to explain why, whether it's the briefing room or the personnel at the Secretary of Defense, now war level, are different and why it's a different outcome.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Growing a successful business has never been easy. But whether you're navigating a complex industry or trying to reinvent one, our breadth of banking experts are here to collaborate on market-proven solutions. At KeyBank, we're built to grow with your changing needs because we're not just here for the business you are now. We're here for the business you'll become. Reimagine business as usual. KeyBank opens doors. Learn more at key.com/B2B.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, unlocking the power of Thinkorswim, the award-winning trading platforms loaded with features that let you dive deeper into the market. Visualize your trades in a new light on Thinkorswim desktop with robust charting and analysis tools, all while you uncover new opportunities with up-to-the-minute market news and insights. Thinkorswim is available on desktop, web, and mobile to meet you where you are. It's built by the trading obsessed to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
Your favorite local grocery stores like Kroger, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and more are now delivering on Uber Eats. Get 40% off your order of fresh, quality ingredients. Whether you just got home to an empty fridge or suddenly got a craving to whip up something new, you can get everything you need delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Get 40% off your order with code Kroger2026. Plus, members get $0 delivery fees. Order now on Uber Eats. Orders of $30 or more save up to $25 and 4/30/26 see app for details.
So the book is Trump 2.0, The Revolution That Will Transform America. Is it out? Can we buy it?
It's out Tuesday. You can literally go to Amazon right now. If you order it today, you will get it Tuesday when it's delivered. And here's the thing, like
cool
all the radio audience, is that if you order in the next 7 days, I talk to people all the time, and they'll say, I really want a signed copy. It's not as easy as it used to be because you're not doing as many events. But so for people who are interested, what I've told them is if you go to Amazon right now in the next, today, order Trump 2.0 and screenshot your purchase, send it to contact@SeanSpicer.com. I will send you at Steve Moore's expense, billing Steve Moore for this.
I'm going to do that myself. I mean, that's a great thing.
By the way, I got one more for you, Steve Moore. Okay. Do you realize? So I got asked a couple weeks ago. So would you like to have a book event at the Trump Kennedy Center? And I was like, yes. So on May 15th, it's a free event. All the information that Sean. I'm like,
what is the date?
How cool is that? Like, I get this thing. May 15th. It's a Friday night, and I was like,
oh, that's amazing!
How cool is that?
I will be there. I'm going to get my picture taken with Sean Spicer, and I'm going to get an autographed copy, and I'm going to bring my book, the Trumponomics 2.0, and we can put them side by side. So that's fantastic. Well, okay, so back to policy. Look, this has been a tough month for Trump. We've got to get the Iran situation fixed, and we've got to get the Strait open, obviously, so we can see the gas prices migrate down. As you know, Sean, the average, even with this hike in gas prices, the average gas price under Donald Trump is lower than the average gas price under Joe Biden. Did you know that?
Well, now I do.
Yeah, so it's true. I mean, a lot of people don't know that. You know that. Even the great Sean Spicer didn't know that.
But you know what? That's the problem is that's just not how politics works, right? You don't get credit for saying, because once you get it way down, right? It's like your salary. If you have a really good couple months, then you don't get to go. But it used to be a lot lower. Like you get excited when those gas prices get down. I'm cheap. I'm a frugal New Englander at heart. So once he got them down under $3, I got excited.
So when you were press secretary, and those first few weeks were pretty brutal because it was an incredibly, you could see foam coming out of these people's mouth, and you faced some tough press conferences, and sometimes when you would may have been a little demoralized coming out of that because you just get the crap beat out of you. What would the president say to you in that kind of circumstance?
To your point, there were some good days. It was like, I tell people all the time, and I don't know about your experiences, Steve, with the president, but like, I tell people all the time, you never have to guess where you stand with him. So if I came out and I did a good job, he'd be like, that was great, you killed it. And then the days that he did not like something,
right.
He ripped the bark off of you. And
he's done that to me too. And it was so I know what you're talking about.
And it was, but like I said, the beauty was you never had to guess. You never were like, oh, I think I did okay. Cause I would come in, he'd either call or I'd come in right after the briefing in the Oval and he'd be like, why did you say this? Da, da, da. But on the flip side, he would be effuse with his praise. Yeah. If you did a good job, he'd be like, that was perfect. That's what you did great. So you never had to guess.
Well, one last thing I'll say about that. We're running out of time here, Sean. And the book, by the way, is Trump 2.0, The Revolution That Will Transform America. When I was doing something on behalf of the president, I was just getting the crap kicked out of me. Trump would call me and said, thank you. You're doing a great job. So he, nobody knows what it's like to have bullets fired at them, literally and figuratively, than Donald Trump.
No, he did that the other day. I was at an event with him and he called me out and he said, you know what? Sean's always got, like, he pays attention, and it's funny, sometimes in the media they'll say, oh, Trump's not loyal. He has endorsed all 5 books of mine, the foreword, and Trump 2.0, he literally wrote the foreword. He voted for me on Dancing with the Stars, Steve Moore. I mean, this is the guy, he is president.
Now that is loyalty.
Have to do that. That's loyalty.
Oh, my God. All right, Sean, thanks so much for coming on. And Full Court Press, what is that?
You bet. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, WABC. I'm the warm-up act for Joe Concha. I come right after the boss, though, right after John Catsimatidis. So I feel like I'm right after the boss, and then I open up. Joe Concha's opening act.
Well, that's perfect because you're also the warm-up guest for John Catsimatidis on the show. So, Sean Spicer, thanks for joining. Have a great weekend, my friend. I hope to see you at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, although I don't think you'll probably be there. And folks, this is the More Money Show. We're having a lot of fun and trying to make your weekend special. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to More Money with Steve Moore. You can hear More Money with Steve Moore Saturday afternoons at 1. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Have no fear. Chosen Foods is here to defend your favorite foods from the forces of seedy oils and sketchy ingredients. With cooking oils, salad dressings, and mayo, all powered by the good fats from 100% pure avocado oil and simple, delicious ingredients. Chosen Foods.
There's fishing. And then there's fishing. Out here, you're after dinner. Online, hackers are after your data. They'll bait you with fake emails, lookalike sites, anything to lure you in. But with Cisco Duo's end-to-end phishing-resistant access control, every login, every device, every user stays protected. Looks like no one's biting today. Cisco Duo. Phishing season is over. Learn more at duo.com.